Alright, YouTube, it is Mr. Mean coming at you this Thursday evening, September 10th, 2020. I just want to say, give a big shout out to some new subscribers real quick. Banelord has subscribed, and Peter Wally, both of the two new subscribers. We're up to, I think, 744 subscribers. So, as always, like and subscribe. We'll do all the other stuff at the end of the video. We are recording this tonight on my iPad Pro. The whole reason I upgraded to the iPad Pro was to try and do this with iMovie and everything. It's super neat. I will say, if you get the chance and you can get the iPencil, get it. It is totally worth it. I have a cheap knockoff pencil. Right here, it was like under 20 bucks, and it does work good, but more better. Hey, here's my English for you, baby. It's better on like a regular iPad Air or any of the other iPads. At least for iPad Pro, it doesn't have pressure sensitivity, but everything else works great, and it is USB Type C. If you can see it there. Anyway, but it's like 20 bucks versus the 120 for the iPad Pencil. So. But the iPad Pencil has that pressure sensitivity, which is really neat. But anyway, this is not a commercial for Apple as much as it sounds. I wanted to give a big shout out to those guys for subscribing. It really means a lot. And then Armin Champ, AHRIMACP, ANCP. Armin, I don't know how you say that. He commented, "Holy crap, I wanted a review of Savage Riffs, not a why Kickstarter is bad bitch fest. Well, there goes 45 minutes of my life I can't get back." And I hence replied, basically, with one click, you never have to waste another 45 minutes of your life ever again. And someone liked it. So YouTube doesn't let you see the comments or who liked whatever. It just shows you that it was liked. He had went back and watched one of my old reviews of riffs, and I did kind of go on a rant, but those of you that follow me know that I tend to rant or kind of squirrel quite a bit in my videos, and that is, some really like that, some people don't. So anyway, big shouts out to Peter Wally and to Banelord for new subscribers. Thank you guys very much. And this shows you that I read all the notes on my YouTube channel. So usually if you see a little heart next to it, it means I read it. I was the one that liked it. Tonight's video du jour, again, a little rusty here with the format. We're playing with it, but I'm recording off my iPad Pro, and then I'm going to try to futz with it in iMovie and do some cool stuff and just play with it, since that was the whole reason for the iPad Pro upgrade. So I got something cool in the mail the other day from my good buddy Brian Isakoff. I got the Book of Dungeon Encounters by Philip K. Reed, or Philip Reed, and I did a review about 2 months ago, beginning of the summer, or maybe middle of the summer, on shops. This is a generic book. This will fit into any any fantasy RPG that you want to plug this stuff. It is system neutral. There's no stats in here. And this, of course, is Dungeon Encounter. So there's maps in here. They even tell you what maps they use. This was successfully kicked off on Kickstarter. 1,960 project supporters who got behind this project on Kickstarter and made such a spectacular success. This book could not have happened without you. This is an invaluable resource. If you're a dungeon master, game master, storyteller, whatever weaver of tales, whatever you want to call yourself, and inevitably it will happen if you run a game any length of time that the players, half your group bails on you. So you have your adventure all set, and especially if you're running something like Pathfinder or D&D where it's level based and there's a challenge rating and all that stuff involved, where there's a formula that will dictate how deadly and or easy your chosen adventure will be. The worst thing you can have happen is one or two players bail, because now you've upset that balance of math, and now you have to either reconfigure on the fly or you have to scrap the adventure and run something else. And that's where Book of Dungeons and Encounters comes in. This is softback. It is a whopping, it's cool art in it too, by the way, 50 pages basically of content. content. I think Brian got this for me off of Drive Through Press. It's glued together. I mean, but it's it's a small one, but it's only 50 pages front and back. It is color. You can see there's dungeon tiles and everything in there, and they tell you where to get all of this stuff. It's all generic art. It's a very cool, very Warhammer 40K looking dwarf, I thought, but it's very cool nonetheless. And it's just plot seeds and more adventure, not plot, but more adventure seeds for your adventure. So again, there's solo stuff in here, and it's got little tick boxes of what you want to use and what you don't want to use. I would recommend either ticking it in pencil or photocopying this, or buying the PDF and print off copies as you use it. You can only print the part of the dungeon you want to use with the tick boxes that you want. You want to include. Like, you can see. Let me find a good page with a bunch of tick boxes. Yeah, here you go. So if you look at it, you can see there's some tick boxes, and then you just tick those boxes off for whatever you want to use. And then you can make a note and say, okay, number 21, and then you can tab it, whatever. It's however you prep for your game is how you do it. I personally don't like to write in my books unless they're disposable. Even though this is, I'm sure, I think this was maybe $10. I don't know what Brian paid for it. But I'm sure it's not terribly expensive, and I think it's one of those ones that if you were to write in it, you could just go buy it again. Or if you buy the PDF, you could, like I said, you could print the pages you want to print. But some generic art in there that's very cool. Really well done. It's a nice bold print, easy to read, and you got 50 pages of dungeoneering goodness. So again, by Philip Reed. He's one of the bigwigs behind GURPS. So if you're a longtime GURPS fan, this will seem familiar to you. He did not write this one by himself. He did have some help. Alexander Agunas, James Case, Ron Lundeen, Philip Reed, and Lars White. The art will look pretty familiar because it's Eric Lofgren and Dean Spencer, which both of those guys, I believe, have done art for the Werewolf trading card game, if I remember correctly. So their art is very distinct and very neat, and it shows through in here. So A, awesome, supplement. B, just super handy for the GM, dungeon master, storyteller, whatever you want to call yourself, and just really great plot ideas, for a simple night's gaming. So totally worth picking up. I'll try to put a link. Well, my affiliate link is down in the description down below in the doobly-doo. So you can definitely, if you just look for the Book of Dungeon Encounters, probably a lot to type out. If you're lazy like me, I would just put Philip Reed in the search bar, and you should find it. And the nice thing about the affiliate link is if you use it, you're supporting the channel, Mr. Mean Speaks, because I get a little kickback from Drive Through RPG. So very helpful. You're helping the channel out, and you're helping me. So that's the first thing I wanted to talk about is thank you, Bri. Awesome. I plan on using this real soon in my Pathfinder games, and I think I'm going to be running online. My games are online because of this lovely pandemic. I'm going to be running. I think, Eberron 5e. I'm not a huge 5th edition fan, but I've got enough interest. I think I want to run a Eberron campaign because it is my favorite setting. Although Mythic is also awesome, so I may go back to run Mythic online as well. Is in D&D. I'm trying to wrap my head around Foundry virtual tabletop. I purchased the license, which was like $50, and they're, I think, up to version 7.0, so they're coming up to a 1.0 release, and they're constantly updating and doing lots of good things. And I'll try to remember to put a link to Foundry VTT down in the notes. Tell them Mr. Mean sent you. If you guys use any of my links or you purchase something because of my reviews, do me a small solid and just email them and say, hey, Mr. Mean sent me. It means a lot, believe it or not. I've had some guys come back to me and say, hey, I just got a couple of sales. If you watched my interview with Brett Bernstein from Politically Incorrect Games, or Priestess Intermediary, he changed his name, and he'll still be politically incorrect to me. But Priestess Intermediary, I'll say that 5 times fast. He mentioned that there were a couple of people that said Mr. Mean sent him. So it means a lot. It means a lot to the designers and to the developers and the people selling the games, and it means a lot to me. So thank you guys for doing that, for those that did. We're going to talk about we're all over the place tonight, so this will be one of those TLDRs. I'll put it in the show notes. But I really wanted to give a big shout out to Brian because he sent me the Market book, or the Shopkeeper's book, that was just like this. And if you have that one and you enjoyed it, you will love this one. So I'm actually thinking about trying to pick up some more of these because they are relatively on the cheap, and it's just a wealth of good information in there. So the next thing I wanted to talk about is GTM, Game Trade Magazine. This is a free magazine. If the game store you're going to tries to sell it to you, they are crooks. Because one of the things they do is when they order from Alliance or Diamond Distribution, one of the things they do is they get X amount of free copies depending on the amount of their order. And they can also say, hey, I want some more copies. And it's a very nominal charge to the game store. And these usually come shrink wrapped, and they'll usually have a couple cards or something in there. And what this is an order catalog. This is basically what your game store orders from. And there's a bunch of little solicitations in here with a number, and you can see it in there. There's a number right there. And basically what they do is they go through this. This is 2 months prior. So this copy is for August, September pre-order. And I picked this up, I think, beginning of August. So they give you roughly a month to look at it. And it's for the stuff coming out 2 months ahead. If they charge you any more than $1, they're ripping you off, because you should be able to get this for free. I think I've only purchased a copy one time. Every other time I've gone to whatever my local game store is and said, hey, do you carry GTM? And they're like, yeah, can you set me a copy aside? And they've never charged me for it. So to be honest, I wouldn't mind paying $1 for it if it helps out the game store a little bit, because I think it's totally worth it. And what's neat about this is you get to see 2 months in advance what's coming out. If you're a big D&D fan, the new releases are going to be in here. If you're a Pathfinder fan, the new releases are going to be in here. If you're into miniature games like Monster Apocalypse or Hordes or War Machine, or any of the other Starfinder. I mean, pretty much anything to do with tabletop gaming is in here. Yu-Gi-Oh cards, Magic the Gathering, any of your little WizKids HeroClix is in here. They have some interesting articles. There's usually about 3 to 4 articles each issue. It's a flimsy little magazine. Like I said, half the time it comes shrink wrapped. Usually at the back of each edition, there will be a Views. This one has 2 in it. Hues and Cues, which is a board game, and Villainous from Marvel. And it'll give you just, it's basically usually the designer or their designers talking about the game, so you get their perspective of the game. Almost like a mini review from the people who made the game or had a hand in its production. And it's totally worth it in my opinion. I think this is, you can tick this off, circle it, dog ear it, whatever, and bring it back. There's an order form that goes with it. You can ask the game store for a copy of the order form. I can't remember if it's in here. They used to include them. I don't think they include them now because it's just kind of a waste of paper if you don't order. But you can ask that, you can, like I said, dog ear it, make a list, and then go. What I used to do at the big game store in Phoenix is I would staple my list to the cover of this, and I would bring it back because game stores and stuff recycle a lot of cardboard and a lot of paper. So I figure it just helps them out a little bit, and it saves the environment. Your public service message of the day there. But it's a great way to pre-order your stuff and get it if you're into Magic cards. I mean, most Magic players are die-hard and they know what's coming out, and so they already know before this even gets in their hands what's coming out. But at least you can mark it off in here and give it to your clerk at the game store and say, hey, pre-order me this stuff. A lot of stores that I've encountered won't make you prepay for it. You can if you decide. No store is going to turn your money away, but it's pretty cool because you prepay for it, or maybe you put down a deposit, and then as the stuff comes in, and it trickles in, it doesn't always come in on like one shipment, because remember, it's a pre-order for 2 months ahead. And so this book is for August and September. So all that stuff's going to trickle in between those 2 months. So you're not going to get everything all at once. So you can just pay for it as it comes in. But it's a nice service that's provided, and a lot of people don't know about this. I used to I get these every chance I go. We have a local game store here called Dungeon World, and I'm not very fond of the owners. They've kind of rubbed me the wrong way. They're a fine game store. I don't wish them any will, but I just don't particularly care for them. But they keep this on the back of their back entrance in a little book thing they have where they have a message board looking for new players, and so you just pick one up, and so I don't even have to go into the store and talk to people. I just go in the back door, grab a copy, and I walk out. And I just happened to be in there the other day when I picked this one up. So this is a big 3D printed Wizard's Tower. I think it's like 3 levels, so you can definitely you can find out about cool stuff in here, so it's very cool. So that's really all I got, guys. I just wanted to do a quick video, but I don't want to do a 10, 15-minute video. So the other thing I wanted to bring up was right now, How to Be a Good GM YouTube channel is running. They've been sponsored by Ulysses Spiel, makers of The Dark Eye. Anybody who's been following my channel for a while knows I love The Dark Eye. This is one of my favorite RPGs. If I could get together a group that would play, I would so run this. If this is one I would run online. I don't necessarily want to use a virtual tabletop. I would just do it through Discord with a camera and run it, because I think it's such an in-depth world. If you're tired of Forgotten Realms, if you're tired of Golarion, if you're tired of buying source book after source book after source book, but let's face it, that's how game companies stay in business, right? And you want something different. You want a new world. You want something that's steeped in 30 years of lore. This is Germany's version of D&D, and it has been out for 30 years. There is such a plethora of information about the world of Aventuria and The Dark Eye that I've done reviews. Go back in the watch list there and check out my different videos for it. I have backed every Kickstarter except the original one. I didn't find out about it until it was too late. The nice part is, I think it was Eric at Ulysses Spiel North America sent me he saw my video and he sent me all the PDFs, and I was in shock. And I think that was the first time a major company had noticed my channel and had done something like that, which I thought was super cool because, they've already made the PDFs. It didn't really cost him anything. It took him more time to put it together, to add it to my drive-through, send me copies. But he sent me PDFs, and then as the stuff got updated, he sent me new stuff. So very cool. And at the time I was unemployed, so obviously it saved a lot of money that I didn't have. So this is the pocket edition of The Dark Eye, the core rule book. And I'll say I have old eyes, and anybody who's watched my channel in the past knows that my vision is not the greatest. And this is, while not super easy to read, it doesn't create an eye strain. I don't know how they did it. It almost seems like it's the same font and size as the core rule book, but I know it's not because the book is, 60% smaller. The core book is huge. And this is obviously, this is tiny. I got meat paws, but still, it's not that big of a book. It's like the Pathfinder pocket editions. That's what this is. So this is the exact same rule book. It's got a copy of the character sheet in the back. And this is the book, and I think you can get this for $20, $19.99. You can buy this. I highly recommend it, guys. There's Aventuria. That's the continent, and it's a great game. It really is. It can be a little daunting. There is Optilith is a character generator that is available for this. It is officially official. I guess that's the best way to put it. The guy that does it is a German guy. I can't remember his name. I just installed the latest version 2 days ago on my PC. He has a Mac version and a Linux version. So whatever your flavor of PC operation is, you should be covered. And it will greatly help you make a character in this game. But it's a really good game system, guys. It is if you like very in-depth character background and knowledge about your world. If you're one of those players that really gets into the lore, man, instead of waiting for WotC to upgrade Forgotten Lore or to upgrade Eberron and only put out one book and they didn't even include a map, you know, this you're going to get so much lore in here that it's not even funny. And they meticulously take the time to translate this from German to English properly. It's not like they run it through Google, speech and then spit out a book where if you get a name of Dieter, that's not a common American name. His name will be changed to like Chuck, and then they'll put, so they do a really good job of translating it. There's not a lot of like hard German words or whatever where you're like, what? But as gamers, we're kind of used to that because we all speak Dwarven, right? And Dragon, it's the ancient language. We all speak it as game masters. So it's not hard. It's like any other role playing game. You take what you want out of it, use what you want, and throw away the rest. But if you want an in-depth world with a thick lore that you want your players to be able to sink their teeth into, go back in my videos and look at some of like the Warring Kingdoms. There's some solo playbooks that you can get. So if you want to get a feel for how combat works and how skill checks work, that solo playbook, I think it's the Vampire of Havana or Haravana, however they say it. It's like a $20 book. Yeah, I think right now during the pandemic, it might even be free on DriveThruRPG. So check it out. It's totally worth it. But yeah, this is the pocket edition, and like I said, it's full color. It is, extremely well laid out. You can see the art. It's a miniature version of the book, and Pathfinder does this really well too with their pocket edition. So I'm extremely pleased with this. I think they make a pocket edition of the Bestiary too, and the Bestiary is really good. So I don't want to, as you get older, you don't want to lug around 100 pounds worth of books or have to do a carry-on or anything. So I hope they make the rest of these in pocket editions, and I'll probably pick them up because I think, especially if I start running it, I definitely want the pocket editions because what I can do is put these on the table, let the players look at them, and then I can keep my nice hardbacks pristine because I'm very fastidious about my books. And you can see the monster bookshelf behind me, and of course, when the GM smiles, it's too late. Obviously every good GM has to have that. I did see another neat one on Amazon that said it was a D20 with a 1, and it said, "Pardon me, please pass me a fresh character sheet." I just got a real big kick out of that. I thought that was very funny. So yeah, guys, that's it. This is more of a test than anything else, but I did want to pass out a little bit of information. Like I said, I was excited for the Dungeon book from Philip Reed, and then I wanted to give a shout out to Game Trade Magazine because I think it's a valuable resource for players and GMs alike for what's coming out new in the market and what your hobby interests are, be it miniatures, role-playing games, board games, whatever. Most of it's in there. And then, of course, to talk a little bit about the Dark Eye. Any chance I get to pimp the Dark Eye, I want to, because I think this is a great game. And I can tell you what, it will be in my next 4 games that need some love, which is another monthly show that I'm doing. I've done 2 episodes already, so I'm gonna do another episode next month, end of September, early October, for 4 games that need love, and I can guarantee you this one's gonna be in there. So that's the end of the video. If you're a current subscriber and you watch the channel and you know my spiel, you can go ahead and click off or go watch something else. But for anybody that's just come through here looking for whatever and you found it, please like and subscribe. I'm on Patreon. It's $5 a month. There's a link down in the description. It's $5 a month. It gets you access to the Discord channel. You just need to join the Discord. There's a link in the notes. And what will happen is that when you become a Patreon and I get notified that you're a Patreon, I can give you the Patreon tier in Discord, so your name will show up a big bright blue as opposed to everybody else who's in white, who are non-subscribers but followers of the channel. And so that basically gives you a little distinction. And then for your $5 every month, you also get entered into prize drawings. In fact, I have another drawing coming up where I'm going to give away a copy of Gaslands and the first edition Frostgrave. Both very playable games. They've just come out with new editions. I don't need 2 copies, and so I thought they're both in very good condition. So I was gonna put them in a drawing and send them out to some of my Patreons. So it's a good time to get in. I just started my Patreon channel back up, and I think I only have like 3 or 4 subscribers. So please, it's $5 a month. It helps out the channel a lot. You can also use my Drive-Thru RPG affiliate link, which is down in the description below. That doesn't cost you anything extra, and it kicks down a little bit of money to me. If you want to do a one-time donation, you can do PayPal Pay Me, link in the description, or ZellyPay if that's easier for you. ZellyPay is baked into your most American banking institutions. You can do it right from your phone, and it doesn't cost you anything extra. And I get the money right away, which helps out the channel a lot. So I hope that helps everybody out. If you have any questions, obviously let me know. And thank you guys so much for watching. And as always, like and subscribe. And remember, if there's a game you want to see reviewed and you're a publisher or developer, send me a copy. I'll be more than happy to review it. And if you want to contact me, it's jpolak@gmail.com. I'm also on MeWe. You can contact me through MeWe, and of course my Discord channel. Links will be down in the description. As always, have a wonderful evening. Peace and hair grease. And remember, Mr. Mean says be nice.